What's up, YouTube fams? Dark Angel's Journey. I'm Shakira, so check it. It is backtesting time. Today, the Fed's going to be talking at 10 o'clock. So, I'm going to hold off until after all of that craziness. So, today and tomorrow, I believe. In the meantime, let's take a look at ES and NASDAQ yesterday and see what they did. I was just tape reading yesterday, so I didn't take any trades, but I had a couple of good options in the morning, and the PM session I wouldn't have taken anything. It's too choppy. Anyway, I haven't even checked to see what NASDAQ was doing at the same time, so let's do it. All right, let's get tiny. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, all right, so just want to take a look at the NASDAQ on the weekly. So we're forming ourselves a tiny week after a very energetic run up. Um, let's go to the daily. And let me take this off. This is the new week opening gap for the 11th. So let's also note the one for this week. Let's drop down to like a 15-minute to do that. Actually, this is my back testing. So let's grab the NQ new week opening gap window. All right, so and then 611 was 1472.25. 1472.25. Let's just do this. Try to keep up with both of them. I need to go back and do a full listing of new week opening gaps on NQ because it is quite energetic. Let's put this to, oops, the text to the right, and let's put it in the middle. Okay. And then 742. And 14,734. Okay. Let's fix this one. 14,742. There we go. And then 14. Control C. Let's take that off for a moment. And 14,734 or something. So let's zoom in on that. Sorry, got me over here fixing stuff. 34.50. Cool. All right. So 15 minutes. All right, so far we've got two new week opening gaps on the 15 and the one that just opened up this week. So we'll just double check this one. So that's 6 o'clock right there, and yep, very small guys, but they've played into it quite nicely. All right, so let's take a look at Tuesday, 10 a.m. Let's add our market stuff so we can see. Today, Tuesday, okay. So, some awesome. Wow. There was a beautiful shorting opportunity on ES as well. But let's see. I always gotta look to the left. Like, what are we aiming for? Let me go back up to the 1 hour. So something that I'm realizing that I need to make sure that I'm very well aware of where price is trying to go. Okay, so this is Tuesday. I'm gonna take this off real quickly. So on the 1 hour, we have this fair value gap right here. Mm, so it's a discount PD array. And let me add the 1 hour on this. Okay, and so we have this PD array and order blocks, 3 consecutive. So let's have, I'm just gonna do the top, the middle, and the bottom, right? So bullish OB there, and I'm gonna control, grab the base of it right there, and then let's grab our fib for like the center line. So wherever, I'm just curious, the middle of it. Ooh, look at that at the very end. Okay, so let's control, let's put that right there. Okay, and then we can delete all that. All right. So on the 1 hour, we have the top, let's do 0.5 and bottom. Cool. So I just want to take a look, right? So I had this wick as well to contend with. I'm curious to see where they dropped into from the wick. Oh, just the top of it, I guess. So that's not in contention. If it busts past here, then we'll talk about that. Okay, so let's go here. All right, so let's see if NASDAQ was as juicy at the 10 o'clock time frame as ES was. All right, so oof, that's not pretty, if you ask me. All right, so 9:45, 9:30, 9:45 had this Judas swing up here. All right. So we had a low, high, higher high traded through. That means we had a bearish breaker right here. So let's note that. It's a bearish breaker. And inside of that breaker, relatively for this balanced price range. So what's the higher? We got two pieces of this, so this is going to be interesting. So that's the higher, what's the lowest right there. So let's assume I'm just going to look for like the midpoint of this highest, this balanced price range right there. And I'm just going to drop at the 0.5. Thank you, ICT. I mean, seriously. Let's plop that right there. Let's click on that and let's adjust that to equilibrium of a balanced price range. Look at the bodies. It's the bodies, man. They tell the story and do the damage. Sorry, I'm trying to fix my OBS here really quickly. That it didn't look weird. Doesn't look weird. All right, so that's on the. So we have like a proper. And we probably had a nice shift elsewhere. Like this, we had a nice shift. The question is, did we get an opportunity to roll back? 2 minutes. I'm just cycling through the time frames, y'all. Sorry. So technically, we had a shift right here, and for a balanced price range, this is the 0.5 area. Honestly, you could have taken an entry from here at the top of this fair value gap here. And it's 1 minute. Like I would feel somewhat comfortable trying that out here. And this could technically be like a 2022 model, but it didn't really, it ran away, right? And it made a shallow run through this base here, which made me feel like they're going to dip in further. Plus we have this fair value gap down here on the 1 hour that they could dip into. Let's see So for a short position, if you take it from the balanced price range, so breaker block one, balanced price range, fair value gap. I mean, what more do you need? So on the NASDAQ, that's like a 400 and whatever. And my preference would be a 20 tick stop because I don't want to give up more than $100 every trade. So approximately that, whatever. So 20, okay, it's not quite perfect, but you get the gist, right? Down to this guy, because you know they're gonna dip through. They made equal lows down here. It's very juicy. Shift right here, and then came back up, showed restraint at the halfway point, and then dropped. So many entry opportunities. Like, wow. Okay. This is not as sexy as and let's drop down to a 15-second really quickly. Come over. Come over. All right, so last look, 441 ticks on the NASDAQ. That's pretty impressive if you ask me. All right, so you know what? I'm also somewhat curious, right? Like we tipped a little bit over this midpoint on the 15-second, but we didn't close any real bodies on the higher time frames on it, so it's all good. Tiny fair value gap here on the 15-minute that it hung out in. And if I'm being honest, like besides the balanced price range and the breaker, I wouldn't know. I don't know that I would have had I would have been comfortable taking this particular trade because at least not on a Nasdaq, right? Like when I get better at this, sure, absolutely. Fair value gap. This one I expect to be like a breakaway gap or whatever, and and then this one is the one for the entry, right? Sorry, guys. Clicking, 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 always clicking. Oh. Anyway, that's beautiful, if not the perfect style of entry. Let me look at this on the 15-minute really quickly here. Okay. All right. So the breaker on the 15 minutes is actually higher up these two consequent down candles. So I really should pay attention there. So on the 15-minute, that's the whole breaker. So then that gives us more context on the entry. Oh, okay, yeah. So on the 15-minute, this is a one continuous down candle, which is the whole breaker. Beautiful. Which means that with the halfway point in between, um, then an entry from here, put this above the breaker. It's more than I like. Um, at the midpoint, and then drop that down. Nice. Okay, I dig it. I dig it. All right, let's see what the afternoon had to offer. Ay, ay, ay. All right, so higher high, shifted through. Um, this wasn't super helpful. And let's actually look at this on the 15 minutes here. And ICT says he's gonna do like a more in-depth dive on breakers. I'm very excited. It's gonna be great. All right, so we've crawled our way back up. So I was expecting like the lunchtime hour to take out the most energetic run, which they sort of did, didn't they? They took out those highs and then got rejected here at this rejection block. And they've just continued to be rejected. And now we're just kind of going sideways. Why? Because the Fed's going to be chatting today at 10. So of course they're going to be, keeping us in consolidation. It's very annoying. But anyway, so this on the 15, no touchy. On, let's see, on the 5-minute, what would you have had? You'd have this fair value gap right here, order block, let's cycle down 4, 3, high, higher high. Nope. Well, hold on. What was the, is it? Oh, it's Monday. Sorry about that. Let me get over here. Ah. So this whole thing on the 5 minute would have been the breaker. Mm. So if you were literally just aiming for, because we had quite a nice run, aiming for this fair value gap down here, would that have been worth it? Like even on ES, I wasn't willing to touch it. So let's see, if you want to be above that breaker. I personally don't like it because it's, let's see, can we do the body maybe? Okay, can I get less? Can I get 20 ticks? Yes, okay, so if I did that, so that would have been wanting all of that. It's 164 ticks. Sometimes they tap it and disappear midpoint, um, retreat, and then come back again as we see them doing here. They made a lot of relative equal lows here, a lot of them. So no thank you. All right, let's dip over to, and let me delete this. I don't want my new week opening gap for NQ to get too messy. Delete that, save that. All right, let's go back to, let's use my, let's use my 5 minutes for my mess. Oops. So there's an opening range gap that formed Friday to Tuesday. This is what, the afternoon? Yeah, that was one potential, like a half point in, fair value gap, same scenario. The morning though, the morning on ES formed much nicer than on NQ. So I came up, I was like, okay, all right. So a beautiful shift right there. Fair value gap. Perfect, perfect um model 22 right here. Here. Um, if I think about this being a balanced price range, let's take a look. So we have this fair value gap, which was higher, that one, which was lower, that one. Okay, so let's take a look here. Where's my zero? Okay, so that one closed a little bit above the 0.5, but it definitely didn't show a ton of like desire to roll back down. But this fair value gap right here, let's cycle down. So I didn't take any entries on that one, obviously, except for four. Okay. Oh, and let's be clear, right? Higher shit traded through. This whole thing is a breaker. And you know what? Let's look at this on my back testing because it's clean. It's clean. It doesn't have all that extra stuff in it. So let's look at yesterday. Let's go back to yesterday. Okay, yeah. Shut down to 5 minutes. No, this is a short I was more than willing to take, but given everything, I did not do so. Now, let's drop up to the 1 hour and take this off for a hot second. And what were we reaching for? Oops. Yeah, so Tuesday. So we had this, and I had it depicted on my other thing. It was getting a little busy over there, so sorry about that. So we had this that they were digging for, right? So when 10 o'clock hit yesterday, my thought, we have three options really. We use the fib here, got that. At minimum, we're taking out this low right here and then digging into this thing, right? So if we look at gradients of this thing, we have the 0.5 right here. Oh, hold on, sorry. Just realized I've gone a bit too far. Okay. So for gradients, we have the 0.5, 0.25, and 0.75. So, you know, you could be aiming for 0.5, you know. So I'm just gonna drop that on there. It's yellow target, and then I'm just gonna note this other one. So these are options for take profits, right? Now, here's what I was thinking. And I love this. This is beautiful. And I should go back and check on the NQ. So the one thing I've learned is to be patient for it to come back into premium, right? So shift, high, higher, high, shift through, nice shift here, breaker. So this is what I was gonna do. Kitty seems to be on his way now. So we have a bearish breaker right here, bearish breaker on the 5 minutes. Then we also have fair value gap right here. So as I toggle down from an entry perspective, all right, Kitty, what's up? So as an entry perspective, let's toggle down 4. Okay, that's 4, 3. All right, all right. 2. And 1. Okay. So let's toggle down and see what we have to play with. All right, so breaker, fair value gap. Ah, Kitty's incoming, y'all. Kitty is incoming. Oh, say hello to my little friend. You okay, buddy? All right. So we have this guy, this like low right here. So potential option, because my mind is like this, right? I use potentially this low right here. Oops, wrong one. Oh, careful, buddy. Okay. We use this low right here. I was looking for an order block. There's one right here. There's none here. There's a tiny one here, a tiny one here. So we have 2 options. We got this low right here with an order block or base, in conjunction right there. I like it. Fair value gap. I like it. And guess what? I can have a tight stop above this thing. Beautiful. And then and this is for me to figure out when it hits above equilibrium right here, right? So this is the 0.75 area right there. Let's adjust this over so it's easier to see. So basically I'm just waiting for it to come back up into premium, right? And to take an entry. Now, if we're gonna be even more specific, like we can take this off and that off and put this and that. And you can wait for it to get in between these levels. So I would look at this, see what's in the space, make an entry, and then we're expecting it to dive into this thing, right? So now I'm just going to be like, well, if 0.5 is the plan, then maybe that as an option. 99 ticks, maybe go to 100, whatever. This one's right here, 117, nice. Oops, Z. And then 127. So where did it drop? What's the low of this candle right here? 44.10.50. Guys, come on, man. Come on. Zoom in. Look at that. Like if you're looking for this and you're looking, you've dropped the pin, the fib and you're trying to figure out like targeting, you can either grab that as their target or 44, 10, 50. I mean, come on. How precise can you be? That's crazy. I might go like one tick or so above it, whatever, get it there and be cool. But that's 125 ticks, bruh. That's it's pretty juicy. Did I take it? No, because I was tape reading. And I'm also growing more comfortable with myself in these moments. I'm gonna hit the replay button here, just so I can do this and go drop down to the 15 seconds and I don't have to like be scrolling in the deep. Let's see here, 950. Yeah. So I don't have to be scrolling in the deep. Hold on. Did I go too far? Right. Make sure I'm in the right place. Yeah. And then also, see here. So this entry for me would have been, oh, I'm sorry. 10 o'clock. I mean, they just ran away. They didn't give you any opportunities for anything. Okay. So let's come here. So if we'd been, time is this? 9:30, 9:43. And then we shifted below here and didn't take this out. Kitty. Just trying to see what I can see on there. Let's go back up to the 5 minutes. I think I just got mildly confused. Oh, I'm looking in. Yeah, so here we go. This is what that looks like on the 5 minute. See what it looks like on the 1 minute. Yeah, it's not as obvious. Like I need to see the shift happen on the 5 minute because the 1 minute isn't as obvious. Because on the 5 minute, 8:40, roll up, 9:25, 9:30, and then this stuff would have given us the entry. And we would not have needed the seconds chart for this because the entry came in up here. Okay, so let's look at the 30 seconds. I am curious though. Came back up. This is the drop down. Returning back up in this general vicinity. Breaker block in here, which I've removed because I'm a weirdo. And on the 15 second, ooh, look, there is a volume imbalance right there. And a nice obvious order block at the base of that. Wow, that would have been way precise right there. I mean, super duper precise. You're not comfy, buddy? I mean, super duper precise. Beautiful. All right, so let's take a look at the afternoon. So that. So the afternoon was just a bag of poop. Just a bag of poop. Seriously, look at it. It's gross. So I was watching it and I was like, nope. I know touchy because that's stupid. It's a stupid, stupid thing. So the only good thing about this is this, right? So we rolled up, we failed to take this out. Almost relatively equal highs, so that was a potential concern. And we had a fair volume imbalance right here and an order fair value gap that was holding price up for quite some time. Look at it. Wicks until it finally broke through it. But we had high, higher high shifted through. So on a 5 minute, we have this breaker right here. Yes. 5 minutes. So we have this bearish breaker right there. And I'm curious, what does this look like on a 15-minute? Okay, it's not as obvious. High, higher high, shifted through right there. This breaker is even higher than I thought on the 15 minutes. So we have a lot of breaker here. That seems ridiculous. But it's still inside of the order block though. Okay. All right. So if we had all of this breaker, we have this giant set of order blocks, propulsion block. And so they roll back into this fair value gap. So you pretty much your options are also we're looking at somewhat of a balanced price range. Like here we had a BISI this way and then a CIVI this way. Not a lot of stuff in between. Let's look at the 4-minute. Now, all the real order blocks for this fair value gap here, sort of overlapping with this order block. They dug further up into it. I think what I was thinking, and we can take a look at my projections here from yesterday, because we had fair value gap above and a opening range gap that they haven't dug into yet, right? So here I have the high and the low at this point for the break, and I was waiting for them to come back into a premium. But in my mind, 8 ticks is what I needed, right? So they would have tried to kick me out here, gotten stopped at the 0.5 of a daily fair value gap, an old one. The opening range gap here, and then probably about 0.25 of the fair value gap that's here. And then they dropped. And I was thinking, this fair value gap right here, 0.5, 46 ticks was all you would have gotten away with. But once you got this entry here, you would have been rolling down, dealing with all this BS chop, and then have them come up, wick you up, and then finally giving it to you. I was not interested in touching it though. Not even a little bit. Anyway, let's clear that out. And let's take a little quick gander at what they've been doing. Let's pull this over and pull that over. And there's still, okay, so Friday to Tuesday, it's Wednesday, so probably gonna, when I say Friday, I mean Sunday, really. And then this fair value gap. They've dug somewhat into it, but not all the way. And the top of that order block too. So right now we are on, what's the 5-minute? Let's go to the 1 hour on this thing and see what we're doing. I mean, all in all, it's still pretty bullish, right? It would need to take out some significant lows for it to not be bullish. Right now, they're just holding us in consolidation to wait. Let's go over here. Let's clear everything off of here. And let's take a look at the weekly on this. Just to stay in sync. We'll take this off. So we still got this all the way up here that they can move up to. With this much of a run, it's not strange for them to want to come back down and rebalance a little bit, and then to continue on up. That's not weird at all. Let's look at the daily. Okay, so right now they took out the highs first and they're working their way down. Um, let's see. How much of this wick have they taken in yet? So they haven't quite made it to 0.5 of that. Let me take this off for now. Let's do that. So they've, of course, passed the 0.75 and almost at they're 5 miles away from the highs of this, but this is closer, and we'll see. We still have about 8 hours and change. It was 9 hours for them to clear this volume imbalance they're slowly creating. So there's that. Let's look at NQ since it is the strength leader. Okay, let's take a look at the weekly. All right, so same scenario for NQ. Let's look at the daily. A little more strength on the downside. That bigger candle forming on NQ. It's coming in. And have we dug further into this wick yet? Yeah, they've already hit the 0.5 of this wick. So, but let's be clear, right? For them to switch properly bearish, at least for me, we've got stuff to play with. There's a fair value gap down here on the daily for them to play with, along with this bullish order block and this high inside of the fair value gap too. So they'd have to break past main threshold of this order block, and then of course take out these equal lows for me to feel like there's going to be a proper switch to bearish. Okay. So I think with that, I'll draw this one to a close. I want to go grab some coffee, potentially. So, oh, one last thing. Let's take a look at the calendar really quickly. Okay, so it's Wednesday. So, Cat's having some core retail stuff coming up. Fed shares talking at 10. All the shares talking at 10 through to 11:40. Powell's probably the worst one. And then tomorrow again, Waller speaks at 4 a.m. Ooh, who wants to get up that early? You have unemployment claims, 8:30, and another 10 a.m. Fed shares. So most of the morning's dead, or at least until about 10:30, 10:40-ish for a potential trade. So it's going to be like a mostly tape reading week for most of this the AMs for this week. Anyway, so that's it for now. I am in full learning mode, applying things. There's a lot more thought being put into why I want to get into an entry and where I want to enter and all that jazz. So I'm rather proud of myself. I hope you're proud of you too. So be good, be safe. Drop a like, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts, how things are going with your trading. And let's keep getting better every day. All right? Shakira out.